Richard, we are about to hit a huge milestone in our career of podcasting.
I am able to poop without assistance.
Yeah. I had to hold your
Finally.
hand the last time, though.
Mom always said the day would come.
No, Richard, besides that, we are about to hit our milestone for our 200th episode. 200 straight weeks, mind you. And we were wanting to do something super special. So what we planned, Richard, is we're going to have the LOB Army ask us questions. So for our 200th episode, we're going to do an Ask a Bro type of episode.
Yeah. You can send us questions like, why are you still doing this? Do you hate yourselves?
And why haven't you two just gotten married yet? It's legal. Well, if you want to ask that question, you can ask it, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to help us celebrate this huge accomplishment, Richard, we're going to be welcoming a couple of Podcastica Network's own Rima Joe from Strange Indeed and Jason from the Walking Dead cast. He's also from the Evil Dead cast, American God cast, and the Westworld cast.
It's like a television O-cast.
Yes.
Is the television guru.
It's the people who know everything about the good TV shows are going to be like
Exactly.
coming on, and they're going to be like, what's wrong with your audience? Why are they asking these questions?
Yeah. Why do you do this?
They're all slightly homoerotic. Well, yeah. Are these all from you, Shawn?
That's our
Yeah.
people. That's our sweet spot.
So like we said, we are opening up these questions for anything. You know, if you want advice, personal or theoretical, we're going to answer anything. They can be as personal or as R-rated as you want. Like we said, if you've ever wanted to know if Richard and I have made out, well, you want to ask that question, right?
Yeah.
You want to know, so all you have to do is ask.
Spoiler alert.
So please get those questions emailed to eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. You can Facebook us at www.facebook.com/languageofbromance, or you can tweet us these questions at languageofbro. Just make sure to get them to us by April 7th to be featured in this huge celebration episode, the 200th Language of Bromance episode.
What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance.
Richard, we love road trips, am I right?
Oh my
We've
God.
been on a couple road trips.
Yes. Holiday road.
Well, Richard, what I want to share with you today is an amazing tale of two men and a dog taking a road trip across this great United States.
Oh, see, now I just realized we've never road tripped with a dog. Now we need a
We
dog.
haven't.
Next road trip we take, we're bringing a dog.
Well, Richard, I think you think of like the Great American Road Trip. Like that started what, in like the 50s or 60s? When all
I feel
those
like it
roads
was
were
the
starting to get laid
50s,
out?
like,
yeah.
because the 50s is when they went crazy and started building highways, across the land. They started, we were heading west with our roadways. And so it seemed like the 50s was when it was that time that you got the family together in the fucking Coupe de Ville and hit the open road, and you saw all those weird ass roadside attractions.
Oh yeah, like Cassandra's Pearl Dragon.
Yeah.
You're like, what's that? You go in, and it's a porn shop.
Yeah, and you're like,
It's not-
I've made it.
But it's not like one of those good porn shops where like you feel comfortable going in. It's one of those where you walk in, you're like, oh, I feel dirty.
Yeah.
They're like, what's that
What
big
porn
thing?
shop have you walked into and gone, looks like a very clean establishment?
There's some classy ones. I mean, there's some that are more like for couples where you walk in and they're clean and they're not like actually have like good lighting. It's not like the flickering lighting. Like it's the ones like off the interstate, like you have to drive down a ways, turn left, and like you see a bunch of cars in the parking lot, and when you walk in, there's nobody in there.
Yeah. And then you're like, where are all those cars doing? Like, where are
They're
the
like,
people
they're
in those cars? And then the guy behind the counter is like, downstairs.
Like, what's down there? Movies. Oh, are you guys showing Avengers?
Oh my God.
Babe, I'm gonna go watch a movie.
I'm going on an adventure.
Come back out 10 minutes later. They were watching Avengers.
It wasn't Avengers. I need
they
a
said-
wet nap and an adult.
They said I could be the Hulk, and I got excited. And then I found out what the Hulk meant. But Richard, what if I was to tell you that this was a great road trip back in 1903?
Oh.
Yeah, so we were, we were kind of had the country settled, but you were taking trains to get where you wanted.
Yeah.
But
I would love to take a train cross country. I think that would be awesome.
Take for flipping ever, though.
It would take for flipping ever.
I've looked for like trips from like here to like you could drive places for like it takes like 3 hours, but because of the stops and everything, it takes like half a day. It's almost like when you take like the Greyhound. Like those are trips that can take forever. Because they stop at like creepy gas stations on the side of the road it's the gas station / porn shop.
Yeah. And they're like, what's your basement like?
Oh, they weren't showing Avengers either. I got fooled twice.
Oh,
I need a wet nap.
Tired of getting burned like this.
Oh, they don't have any. I got to use like the gas station napkins, and then I got to use the hot dog water to clean off.
Yeah.
And that just makes the people more excited.
And then I sit there and I go, what's worse, the hot dog water or it's the hot dog water. It's worse.
It's more salty. So, Richard, we're going to follow the tale of a man by the name of Horatio Nelson Jackson.
Horatio Nelson Jackson. He sounds like a captain. Sounds like a boat captain.
He really does.
I want to hear this guy like write a log. The Journal of Horatio.
Day 1, trip across America.
Yeah, the journey begins.
The dog won't stop licking his balls. Wait a minute, you didn't have the dog till day 12. But his driving partner on this trip, Richard, was one Sewall K. Crocker.
His name was Sewall?
Sewall, Sewall.
Oh my God. I'm picturing a guy with like an eye patch and he talks and he's like Quint. Like he talks like Quint.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm picturing.
He mistaked this for like a boat trip across the sea.
Yeah.
Aye, matey, I thought we were crossing the Great Lake.
Yeah.
But not going to the Great Lakes.
No, we're in a car, Sewall. And take off that goddamn captain's hat.
So, Richard, Horatio was basically he had a medical career. So we'll start like very little bit about his beginning. So he was born in Toronto to American parents. He graduated from the University of Vermont in 1893 and became a physician.
Okay, so he was in Toronto, and then he went to Vermont.
Yep. So he traveled to Vermont, became a physician, and he practiced in Bartlesboro and Burlington, Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont. That's the home of Ben and Jerry's.
Ooh.
Right?
So isn't like one of them diabetic? Like one of them doesn't even eat ice cream or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. Doesn't matter. That's fucking God's own kitchen in there.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Ben and Jerry's?
No, I mean like flavor.
Oh, my favorite Ben and Jerry's flavor? Ooh, that's hard. Boom Chocolate is pretty good. Everybody likes Cherry Garcia. My wife loves Cherry Garcia. Everybody goes for the Cherry Garcia. That's their most popular one.
I'm pretty vanilla. I like chocolate chip cookie dough.
They have
That's
like
always my go-to.
they have like the craziest flavors in the world, and you're like chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yep.
Were you born just like the whitest guy on the planet?
Yeah, probably. I tan pretty well though. But so he married a lady by the name of Bertha Richardson Wells, who was the daughter of William Wells, a Medal of Honor recipient. So like he's like not already up on this dude's chain. Like this is probably why he did this trip, William Wells is like, you're not good enough to marry my daughter. You're just a doctor.
Yeah. Why don't you be a war hero like me? See this leg? Bink, bink.
Oh, shit. He would have been in
made out of metal.
Because William Wells would have been like before World War I and II. So he would have been fighting Indians in the Mexican War. And maybe the Civil War. When was this? No, the Civil War was like 1830s, right?
No, Civil War was like 1850s.
Ooh, so maybe he fought in the
60s.
Civil War.
He might have.
He was a drummer boy. He's like, you know how I got a Medal of Honor? I stabbed one of those Confederate bastards in the eye with my drumstick.
I'm killing Redskins. And then the daughter's like, Dad, it's 1903. We don't call them Redskins anymore.
We call them Indians.
Please stop.
But let's see. And he was one of the richest men in Vermont, was Wells. So I don't know how he got his money, but he was a partner in Wells, Richardson and Company, which manufactured celery compound, a popular patent medicine. So this is a good combination. Like he married to a Wells who built some kind of medicine, and he could push that to his
oh my God, he was a
patients.
he was a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah. He's like, if you do this celery compound, it'll ease all your aches and pains. Does it cure racism, Dad?
He's just, you know what happened? You know what it was? He just poured whiskey inside a bottle and then put a celery stick in it. He's like, no, it's healthy.
Funny side note to that as we're talking about this. So my grandpa let me take this book of recipes that I think it was my grandma's sister put together. So it was like old family recipes.
Okay.
And one of them was for basically like cough or like sick medicine.
Okay.
And essentially it was like whiskey, lemon, and like one or two other things. Honey. Honey was one of them.
Whiskey and one or two other things. I think one of them was more whiskey.
2 parts whiskey. 2 parts whiskey.
2 parts whiskey, 1 squeeze of lemon, top
and a
off
drip of honey.
Pour whiskey until full.
You drink the whiskey until you pass out, and then you should feel better the next morning. If not, drink more whiskey.
Yeah. You drink a bunch of whiskey and then have someone squeeze a lemon over your face.
Richard, my grandpa's been sick for 74 years.
And happy about it. I don't understand.
Yeah, he just sit there. He's like, I need my cough medicine. I need my Jack Daniels. Dope, 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 dope. Well,
Dad
you never know. I might get bit by a snake. I better add a little extra. But so Richard, Horatio Nelson Jackson is probably just getting beat down by William Wells, his father-in-law. Like, aren't we all? Like, we all want to impress our father-in-laws.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's
especially
like,
this one. I mean, like he's he's a war hero.
Medal
he's probably got like
recipient.
a leg. His legs probably made from like metal from a ship or something.
And he's super wealthy. So like he's not only like a battlefield like awesome dude hero.
Yeah,
he's also like a businessman who's made shit ton of money.
Exactly. It's probably like constantly sauced, making his fucking tonic water.
Yeah. He's like, so Nelson. He's like, my last name is Jackson. Fuck you. Call you Nelson. How many patients you see today, Nelson? I saw like 12. I don't fucking care.
I know what will make them better. Like some of this.
That's just ground up celery. It's more than that.
That's whiskey with a piece of celery sticking out of the top. I know. It's a cocktail. They're going to be drinking this for years.
He missed it by that much. If he had vodka, he would have been the first one to come up with a Bloody Mary.
Right?
They would have called it a Bloody Wells. It's like, no, pour tomato juice in your whiskey, and you put like an olive and some tonic, and you mix it with this. God damn that vodka!
Yeah. Years later, someone was like, let's put cucumbers in water, and then this dude's like, I was putting celery stalks in whiskey, and everybody thought I was fucking drunk. You do it and you're health conscious. Fuck this new age bullshit.
Dad, one reason is because it's water, not alcohol. Well, I mean, can you be sure it's clear? It could be vodka.
I bet the fancy boys came up with that. Dad, knock it off.
Yo, we called fancy boys in the army camp meat. Dad!
Oh my Jesus.
You do know that Nelson's brother's gay, right? Yeah. I want you to meet your new stepdad. So Richard, I'm sure the reason that Jackson took on this huge task of going cross country is because of his stepfather. So
yeah, we're like, hey, let's get away from the drunk old weird man.
So besides his medical practice, Jackson was huge in like audio enthusiast. So this was really early on too. So like the cars were, like what you think of like the early Model T, where it's like an open like car with like the really big wheels.
With the little squeeze horn on the front.
Yeah. Or you had to go to the front and like crank it to make it go.
Yeah.
But Jackson loved these things. So basically what he did is he thought it was going to be a passing fad. Like he's like the people that says like the internet's not going to be around in 20 years. That's what he thought about these cars. He's like, they're just not practical and just more of a recreational thing. So he went out to San Francisco, and one night he's out at a bar, I'm guessing, and he takes a $50 wager to prove that a four-wheeled machine could be driven across the country. And this is before roads. This is before anything. This is like open country.
Oh, shit.
So he's at a bar. He's like drunk. He's like, you know what? Give me a celery whiskey. And the dude behind the bar is like, what the fuck is that? My father-in-law would know. He invented it.
Learned it from dear old dad. Just take some whiskey and put a celery stalk in it. What's that do? I don't know. It's supposed to cure polio. That's what he said.
He said he learned it from I can't say the word, but a Native American.
He called him a redskin shaman.
I don't even think it was.
That sounds kind of racist. I know.
You should hear what he says about fancy boys. Oh, I know, honey. My stepdad's the same way.
Every family's got one of them, sweetie.
We're hoping they, in 20 years we'll be past this.
Yeah, hopefully. But you are fierce. You're a lion.
But
you're a lion.
And so as he's going through this drunken stupor, he's talking about like how he loves cars, and he's like, you know what? These things are a passing fad, but they're more powerful than horses. Some dude's like, bullshit. Like, I bet you couldn't even drive one of those things cross country. And he's like, bet you $50 I could. So back then, this is the equivalent of $1,362.
Damn.
So a pretty good chunk of change.
Right? He's fucking throwing it down.
Yeah.
And, I mean, really, it's, that's kind of a dicey bet to make. Because, I mean, you would think, like, yeah, driving a car cross country, but, like, shit breaks down. You're in the middle of fuck off nowhere.
Yeah. And those porn shops back then, I bet they weren't as clean.
No, they probably weren't. Actually, you know what? I bet I wouldn't mind the porn shops back then. I bet they were all like built out of wood.
Yeah, probably. You walk up, it's like, all right, well, put your face to this, and the guy's cranking the thing.
Yeah, the smell of rich mahogany.
He's like, I feel something in my pants. And you look down, and it's the dude that owns the place. He's like, just keep looking at the picture.
Shh, go with it.
Nom. Oh God, I can't tell my father-in-law this.
Want some tonic water?
I have some cucumbers. Where's the cucumber at?
I just swish them around in my mouth. Gross.
So Richard, as he's basically gotten this bet, he accepts, and he's at 31 years old at this point. Doesn't own. So he's basically our age. He doesn't own a car. No experience driving really, and there's no maps at all.
Yeah.
And him and his wife were basically planning to return back to their home in Burlington, Vermont in like a few days. And they'd been kind of like taking a few like driving lessons out in San Francisco too. But she supported him. She's like, what? I'm going to have like 3 months without you? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Maybe dad'll shut up for once.
So with no mechanical experience, he looks around and tries to find, and what he finds is a young mechanic and chauffeur who we talked about earlier is Sewall K. Crocker.
Oh my God! So this dude's like his Tonto, or
yeah, kind of.
Like this is his Jarvis. If he's Tony Stark, this is his Jarvis.
Well, I'm kind of curious, like the telegram to his dad, father-in-law Wells. He's like, my dearest father-in-law, I am going to make you proud. I'm going to be the first person to drive cross-country on a four-wheeled vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take with me this young, strapping, strong mechanic young man by the name of Sewall Crocker. Oh, sorry. Spell check mistake. It's Crocker.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dad's like, so essentially you're driving out into the wilderness with another dude for an indeterminate amount of time.
I'm never going to get grandkids.
I do this like once a month. I support this decision completely.
So basically, Crocker was going to serve as his travel companion, mechanic, and backup driver. Crocker was the one who suggested on the type of vehicle that he should buy, which was a Winston car, or a Winton car, Winton.
Okay. Now, at the time, like, how fast could these things go?
So the car he bought was a slightly used one. It was 2-cylinder, and it was 20 horsepower.
Okay, so max
10,
speed.
10, 15 miles per hour.
That's
maybe.
what I was going to say, about like 15 or 20 if he like fucking floors it.
Yeah. And
So,
it'd be
okay, so
loud as-
consider this, okay? From where we live in the Midwest, to drive from here to the coast is about, by car, is about 26, 27 hours. So from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Oh, you could probably tack on another 20 hours.
Yeah, probably another 16 to 18. And that's when you're going like 65.
Yeah, with roads. You're like driving on actual roads too.
So he's exactly. Yeah, driving on an actual paved road. This dude's driving fucking through fields and probably fences and
So as he bought this Winton, Sewall, we talked earlier, is like probably some sea captain. And so he's like, we gotta name her. Nelson's like, what the fuck do you mean name her? Like a boat?
Yeah, like a boat.
What the fuck's the matter with you?
This is our vessel. Like, we're like Ahab. No, I'm Ahab.
This is like our love boat. This is like a love cruise.
Yeah, this is a love boat. Get on the love boat. No, I mean, I don't want to now. You just ruined it.
I mean, I thought maybe we would talk, in deep conversation, maybe see where it goes, experiment a little bit, but
I packed this picnic basket.
I don't want my heart broken, Sewall. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'll never learn to love again, Sewall.
I'm a married man, sir. But he decided to go ahead and name it, and he names it Vermont after the state which he's from, which is kind of corny, but, whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's, super original. Good job.
I would have named it after my wife, maybe.
Yeah.
Or my lover, Sewall.
He probably asked, and she was like, no, I'm good. Why don't you just go with the state you're driving to? So that way when you're found dead in a field, they'll know where you were headed.
So, Richard, these two left San Francisco on May 23rd, carrying coats, rubber protective suits, sleeping bags, blankets, canteens, a water bag, an axe, a shovel, a telescope, tools, spare parts, a block and tackle, cans for extra gasoline and oil, a Kodak camera. Now, this is where it gets crazy. Not really crazy, but it's kind of interesting. A rifle, a shotgun, and pistols.
That makes perfect sense. You gotta think,
Oregon
Shawn,
Trail.
they're driving through fucking, like, woods and fields, and, like, they probably, were afraid they'd run into fucking wolves or bears.
Yeah.
Bandits.
Like dudes from, like, the cowboy era that
land
didn't give it
pirates.
up yet.
Land sharks.
Oh, yeah. So, oh man, let's see. So this is where it seems like this should have been the reason for them to stop right away. But heeding the fail attempt. So there was somebody else that tried this, and that was Alexander Winton, which was the founder of the Winton Motor Carriage Company, which manufactured Jackson's car.
The guy that built the fucking car. He's like, I wouldn't.
He's like, I'll sell you a car.
Weird out there on the open road. There isn't even an open road. It's just open grass. Because really, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of like this is like a voyage. It is like a fucking sea voyage.
Yeah.
You're just putting along over hills. And like, what happens if you're driving that car and you run into a fucking mountain? Like, then what?
Yeah. You can't really push I'm guessing these things were heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
I know they had to be loud, so it wouldn't have been a comfortable, because when you and I drove, there's something very soothing about being on a highway, sticking the cruise control on, and just kind of driving and seeing the world. Yeah. This had just been like, I think we should have turned left.
Are you having a good time? Blah, 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 blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
you can go down on me at any time.
It's a long way to Vermont. Blah, 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 blah.
So, oh goodness. So to cross the desert in Nevada and Utah, Jackson decided to take a more northerly route. So the route would have took them through the Sacramento Valley and along the Oregon Trail, and would also allow them to avoid the higher passes in the Rocky Mountains. So they're going to have to cross the Rockies, but they're going to try and hit kind of the smaller paths of it.
Because they're like, we heard about these people that tried to come here. What were they called? Oh, yeah, the Donners. It didn't work out so well for them. So
Sewall's like, you can eat me all you want.
we're going to avoid cannibalism.
But like I said, Richard, these two just started off with themselves, so it's just these two. The dog hasn't even come into this part yet.
Oh, shit, you're right. I hadn't thought about that.
So on May 23rd, 1903, the car was transported by ferry from San Francisco to Oakland. So they're kind of like, we're getting this started. But Richard, like right away, you should have been like, this is a bad idea. 15 miles into their trip, the car blew a tire.
Oh, fuck.
So Jackson and Crocker replaced it with the only spare they had, and it was the only right spare tire they could find in all of San Francisco. They only had one of these spare tires, and they've already used it 15 miles in.
Yeah. They're like, it's okay. We've only got, 45 days before we get to where we're going. We'll pick up another one along the way. I'm sure there's a mechanic shop somewhere between here and there, right? Right?
I'm sure we can make one out of
a tree.
Gopher. A tree. So on the second night of their journey, they decided, okay, we need to replace the side lanterns because they discovered at first light that they were just too dim, and with a large spotlight mount on the front of the Vermont. So they're driving at night. It's like, I can't fucking see anything. What's that in front of you? Thump, thump. Gopher.
My baby! That must be the gopher's mother.
It's crazy. I heard they could talk out here.
It's fucked up. Groundhogs,
bang, bang.
prairie dogs, right?
Prairie dogs can shoot too. Quick, get in shooting position.
Who the fuck ran over my kid? That must be the patriarch of the family. Prairie dogs are mean. Let's just keep going.
And they stopped in Sacramento when they changed out the lights so they could see better. And they were assisted in Sacramento by bicyclists who offered them road maps. So there are some kind of maps, I guess, that at least show somewhat of the way.
Or at least, hopefully, a way. I mean, the bicyclist probably showed, hey, this is what you're going to expect for the next, 60 miles.
Like, oh my God, that looks terrible. It's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's why we only bike these 2-mile track right here.
Yeah, that's why we stay here, because we're not crazy. So don't die.
Good luck. Bye.
Laters.
So as they were going through, and as they're in Sacramento, he tried to find new tires, and they didn't have any. Because, I mean, you think of today, it would be really hard to, especially with phones. You break down somebody, you call AAA, and you're getting towed, to the next local town.
Yeah.
Who could probably get you the tires you need, and you're on your way.
Right.
At this point, they're in a big city, Sacramento. He's like, hey, I need these tires for this wind ton car. Don't have any.
Yeah.
What's a wind ton?
They got shit. Go out and find a tree. Build your own wheel.
Thanks, Mr. Goodyear. So, going northward out of Sacramento, the noise of the car covered the fact that the duo's cooking gear was falling off.
Oh, shit.
So, what we're talking about, it's like, bob, 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 bob.
Did you hear something?
What? Never mind.
Only the sound of my heart.
Bob, 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 bob. So I like dudes. Bob, 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 bob. And also, so this is probably the reason guys don't ask directions, but they were given a 108-mile misdirection by a woman so that she could send them to a spot where her family could see an automobile.
Oh, that's fucking bogus.
So
that's funny, though.
We're trying to get from here to here on this map. How do we do that? You go.
The first thing you do is you go 80, go 100, go about 100 miles that way, and then you'll see this house. Because that's how women give directions, With guys, it's always like, hey, go north on 5 for about 10 miles. You take take exit 23. Then you're going to take a left on Ventura, and then you should connect up to Sunset and take Sunset all the way out to, whatever. But with women,
that's not how I give directions.
Okay,
I give
so
directions like
you're
a
gonna
woman.
go until you see there's this house, and it had a swing. It used to have a swing set on the porch, but it doesn't have a swing set anymore. Now there's a big tire hanging from a tree. So once you see the house that has the tire on the tree, then you're gonna want to go right, and after that, then you'll see this big stump that looks like Ed McMahon. So you just find the Ed McMahon stump, and once you get to that, then you'll take a left, and you'll be there in like 2 minutes.
If you get to the Chick-fil-A, you've gone too far.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, she's like, nope, you go here, you'll get to a house that says the Millers, and there's a bridge that'll take you all the way you want to. It's quickest way.
Yep. Made out of rainbows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a leprechaun.
Yeah, Horatio's like, holy shit, a rainbow bridge. Sewall's like,
yeah.
Are you fucking high? There's no bridge made out of... Whoa, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, well, they might have been high off those fumes, technically.
God, I hope we die on this trip soon. I can't wait to eat you once we get in the mountains.
But yeah, they show up, and they're like, where's the rainbow bridge? They're like, holy shit, an automobile.
Wow.
So
they probably sent a letter. Like, she probably, after she sent the car on its way, they're like, oh yeah, just go to this house. It says the Millers on the mailbox. Stop there for a second, and then go east. Like, she probably wrote a letter and sent it, and the letter probably got there before the car.
The dude on the Pony Express, like, drives by him on his horse.
Rides by on a horse.
Hey, are you guys going to the Millers? Blah, 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 blah. What? Millers. No. Nelson.
It's a car.
Are you going to the Rainbow Bridge too? Blah, 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 blah. No, there's no rain for weeks. Bye. So the rough trek towards Oregon required them to haul the car across deep streams.
Why the fuck are they going to Oregon?
They fucking going north for some reason. I think they were trying to like get past the Rockies.
Oh, so they're trying to like go around it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Way north,
that makes sense.
Over. Which would probably make sense to take a train to Oregon and just buy a car in Oregon unless there weren't any there.
Yeah, like you're still coming from the coast.
And what sucks is like he says here, like, you know, there aren't any bridges. So you come to a stream or a river, like you can't drive your car across that.
Right? Exactly. Like, what's the fucking plan here? You just
have to ford it like the Oregon Trail and hope you don't drown.
Is that what you're going to do? Carry the fucking car?
Well, it says they use a block and tackle, which I'm guessing is some form of like, you put it on a block and it floats across somehow.
No, block and tackle's like for fishing.
Well, they said they crossed it with the block and tackle, so they just pull it across?
I don't fucking know. Maybe they just would build a raft and then...
Every time.
They'd build a raft and then just pray.
These guys walk over on horses like, what the fuck are you guys doing? We're trying to get across the river. Take your horse across. Oh, you're one of those car people.
I hate car guys.
Nelson's like, I know, it's just a fad. Horses are the way to go. Horses for life.
Yeah.
Fuck you, nerd.
Good thing I just invested. Good thing I invested in these buggy whips.
And apparently, somewhere along the line, Jackson lost a pair of his glasses.
Oh shit!
And
probably in the river.
Probably, yeah. But this trip was just like a trail of them losing shit. So he lost another pair of glasses. They were required to pay $4. So this is what gets crazy.
What they do? Get pulled over?
No. So they come like, I don't know how they even like, because this is like 1903. So there's open prairies,
right?
So like somehow they came like to a spot in some dude's land where he sees them. He's like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing with that car? It's like, blah, 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 blah. Passing through, thanks. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, fucking stop. Pulls out his gun. So they turn it off, and they're covered in muck.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck
are you doing with that car?
Blah,
blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't have time for a bar.
But essentially, they, you know, this landowner tells them, is like, hey, if you want to cross this mountain, or if you want to cross my land, you have to give me $4.
Oh, my God. The dude's... it's a toll road.
First toll road. And this is the equivalent to $109 in 2017.
Damn, the toll road before there was roads. Yeah, there's probably like, you know, I don't have $4. Can't you just like give us a riddle to solve or something?
He's like, well, what if I trade you my cooking? Oh, damn it, Sewall, we lost our cooking gear.
Fuck.
I would have known if I didn't lose my glasses.
How many? $4. $8. No, the 8 fingers. No, you just can't. You're blind as a fucking bat, Horatio. It's $4.
Unless you have 8, then now it's $8.
I think the sound of this car's making us deaf, Sewall.
Huh? So they pay him the $4. They're going across his land. So they had tires blow out that they were required to wind rope around the wheels or wind rope around the wheels. So they were basically, like you said, trying to make their own wheels.
Yeah. So basically so I'm not sure how tires on like old cars work. I assume they're
like bike tires, I think.
I was gonna say, like, I assume they're closer to wagon wheels than they are to like the car tires you and I know today. So, if a wagon wheel fucking breaks, like wagon wheels are pretty much, it's like wood. They're pretty much made out of wood, and then the whole rim of the wheel is metal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming like cars then were kind of like that. It was, metal and maybe probably a little bit of rubber.
Yeah, I think because they brought a bunch of tubes.
Okay.
So I think it must be like some kind of wheel around a tube type thing.
Yeah.
But they were able to wire back to San Francisco to ask for some replacement tires. So they reach Alturas, California. So they're not even out of California yet.
Jesus.
As they're heading towards Oregon. And so they wait for their tires, and to make a little extra money, they start exchanging car rides for a Wild West show.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Sewall, you got to make us some money with that pretty face of yours.
Yeah. Go out and show them what's up, Sewall. What? I said go out and whore it up.
Take my dick out? No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually do that.
Sure. I can't tell if it's small or huge. I lost my glasses. Just go impress somebody.
But they wait around for 3 days, and they're like, in this time frame, like I wouldn't think that'd be long enough. Like if you're trying to get something shipped to California, like it took you guys like a month to get a couple 100 miles. It's not going to just Amazon 2 days shipping.
Amazon Prime, and then somebody shows up on a fucking horse and it's like, here's your stuff. Man, that was fast. Yeah. Horses, wave of the future. Bye.
We got this 2 day shipping we got to make over in New York. We're going to be there in a day and a half. So on June 6th, Richard, so as they say, fuck it, we got to go. June 6th, the car broke down.
Oh, shit.
And they had to be towed by a nearby ranch by a cowboy on horseback.
Damn.
So
that's just like fucking insult to injury.
He's like, what doesn't break down? Horses.
That's
until
rubbing,
they get too old.
That's rubbing lemon in the wound. That's what that's doing.
Oh, so Crocker, his companion, Sewall, made the repairs, but a fuel leak caused them to lose all of their available gasoline. So they lose all their gasoline. So Jackson and him have to rent a bicycle.
Oh my God.
To travel 25 miles to Burns, Oregon for fuel. So they have to bike, 50 miles round trip to get like 2 canisters of gasoline, which is kind of amazing so it's 4 gallons is what they got. That's pretty impressive. I'm kind of curious what the miles per gallon these things got.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Because there wouldn't be any good stopping points to get gas along the way. I mean, I'm sure there's some small towns, but still.
I'm sure it's probably like akin to a lawnmower, which I mean, I would think, like my lawnmower, it usually it takes like I mow the grass like when I mow my grass, it usually takes me like about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway, if I fill up the tank, by about towards the end of the second time I do it, I need to fill it up again.
How many miles is that per gallon?
I have no idea.
You have to wear a Fitbit next time you do it to keep track.
Yeah.
But Richard, these guys again are not having much luck. So as they're trying to get back, they end up getting a flat tire on their bicycle. So at this point, I think Sewall's just fucking with him. Like he's trying
just
to like
popping tires.
He's trying to get to where like they just end up somewhere, and every time like they get a pop tire, he's like, well, maybe we should just make this our home. Nelson,
let's live off the land. You and me, Horatio, and nobody else.
We can raise sheep
I'm fucking
together.
Married.
Not out here, you're not.
This is our land. This could be ours.
Sewall goes in. He's like, are you trying to fucking kiss me?
Horatio, hold me.
And that's where they just returned with 4 gallons of fuel, which Jackson complained cost him nearly $20. So it was like $5 a gallon.
I've never known a love like yours, Horatio.
So as they're going through on June 9th, outside of Vail, Oregon, the Vermont ran out of oil. So Jackson had to walk back to the last town to get oil, only to discover that eventually they had been stopped only a short distance outside of Vail. So they're really close to where they need to be. It's the whole thing of like when you're driving and you're like, fuck, we got to be close, right? It's like, oh, maybe, did we take the wrong turn? Maybe we should just turn around.
Right.
But
Well,
no,
let's just wait for the next street sign. Or let's wait for the next sign. Oh, wait. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah. There are no signs for the next 2,000 miles.
It's crazy how easy we have it these days. Like, if you get lost, it's just like punch in Google Maps. How
right?
the fuck do I not end up getting in the place I don't need to be?
Did you ever have to take road trips where you had to print off directions?
Yeah. Back in the day, I did.
Yeah.
It was like maps.com, and it'd give you all, and you would never know if it was right or
something.
Not. Yeah. There's only been one time in my life where I had to like stop at a gas station and look at a map to figure my way home.
I brought a map with me when I was in Northern California, just because since I was going to be, like in and out of, fairly decent sized hills and mountains and shit like that. Like I figured cell phone service was like going to be super spotty. I did have to end up using the map a couple times.
It feels kind of good.
It does. It kind of does. I'm glad that it's a skill that I had, I'm glad I didn't kind of lose, because it's fairly easy. Once you figure out kind of where you're at, it's fairly easy to figure out where you need to go and how to get there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's not really a skill I think you learn. It's just kind of one you have or you don't. Like you can kind of probably figure it out, but the time I did, I think I was like 17 or 18 and took a wrong turn and ended up going like south instead of going north.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of those things, like it'd been a spot I've been to a few times, so like it didn't look right at all. I'm like, this is not right.
Right.
And I turned into a gas station and looked at the map and like, oh yeah, we're way south of where we need to be. But using the map, I feel like, oh, okay, so we got to take this road to here, to here, to here, and then we go straight and we'll be back on track.
Yeah.
And it felt pretty good to be able to figure that out. Unlike these guys, it's just like, where do we go? I don't know. The sun's set behind us, so that's west. So go the opposite direction.
That way, I think. Let's try not to die.
So it sounds like I guess Idaho's pretty close to Oregon in that, but somewhere near Caldwell, Idaho.
Well, I mean,
I think they're right next to each other, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Idaho's a bit more north. So basically, it sounds like they're going like they're trying to go up and over or up and around.
Yeah, kind of hit like Oregon, Idaho, probably Montana, Dakotas, Minnesota, then start working their way down.
Yeah.
But as they got to Caldwell, Idaho, Jackson and Crocker obtained a dog, a pit bull that they named Bud.
Oh, nice.
So
they're like, listen, I'm tired of being in this car with you. I need a friend. No, this isn't the end. We have a whole ways to go. God damn, I'm getting a dog. I don't see any fog. Son of a bitch.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, their trip essentially is not even like a quarter of the way done.
No.
Like, they're just now going the right direction.
Yeah. Finally, they're going roughly in the direction that they need to be going.
But apparently and Jackson was the one that wanted the dog companion. He wanted one since Sacramento. So I imagine like this argument since Sacramento will be like, I think we should get a dog. We're not getting a fucking dog. Where are we going to put it? It can ride in the middle.
That's why he loosely tied the cooking supplies. Where's all our fucking food? I don't know, but now we got room for a dog. We're not getting a goddamn dog.
As they're in Idaho, and Crocker's sleeping. All of a sudden, he hears, "Hey, Sewall, Sewall, look at this. Did you get a fucking dog?
Can we get a puppy?
It was lonely and lost, and now it's ours. Guess what his name is? Bud. Yeah, it's Bud." You've been saying you're gonna name your goddamn dog Bud since Sacramento.
Yeah. Sacramento, that was like, what, 8 months ago?
I bet your wife has divorced you at this point.
Yeah. I've even forgotten her name. Her crazy racist father with her celery celery
whiskey. So newspapers and stuff were running stories on these guys, and I guess they were trying to figure out how they got this dog. So like, it's a national story at this point. These two jackasses trying to drive across the country.
See, like that is fucking crazy to me.
I mean, it'd be like the first person trying to cross the ocean to an extent.
Like I'm imagining it's like Forrest Gump when he's running cross country, you know? He's running from like coast to coast, and then it gets on the news. And
I've just kept running.
Right. Like other people join in, but not in this case because nobody else has a car.
Yeah.
And the people that do have cars are like, this sounds fucking stupid. I wouldn't do that.
It's like, I can barely get 10 miles without a tire popping.
Yeah.
But yeah, the newspapers were getting all this stuff together. And they were trying to figure out how the hell these two dudes got this dog. One of the papers said that they stole the dog. But a letter to his wife, Nelson said that he bought the dog for $15, which is the equivalent of $409. So he's just like throwing money away.
Yeah, no shit. He's like, oh, I bought this for $15. And then Horatio's like, or then Sewall's like, motherfucker, that's like 4 tolls.
Yeah. Or like 3 months of food. But Richard, this is where it gets interesting with this dog.
Oh, so, this is where it gets interesting.
I just want to know the conversation between Sewall and Nelson at this point. So these cars, there's no like real like coverage on them all. They're open, so as you're driving on these dusty roads, like you're just getting hit with dust. Because like the old like silent films, whenever you see somebody get in these cars, they have goggles, hat, they got the little bandana thing around their neck.
Gloves. I always love the gloves.
Yeah. So it turns out that going through this, Bud's eyes were getting irritated.
Oh shit.
So I guarantee you the conversation happened where Nelson Jackson is like, hey, maybe we should make him some goggles. And Sewall's like, we're not fucking making him goggles. Well, maybe,
let's say hypothetically I already made him goggles.
That's what I imagine. They wake up that next morning, they get in the car, and Sewall looks over. And he sees this dog just panting with these goggles that are getting fogged up.
And a little like Red Baron hat and bandana. We're ready to drive. Are we, Bud? Orf.
Nelson looks at Jackson. See anything different with Bud? They add this point in here, which doesn't seem like much of an interesting point, but Bud drank some bad water and became ill, but he survived. So I don't really understand why they'd throw that in there, but...
for the sympathy.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I would feel bad. Like, this doesn't seem natural for 2 humans to do at this point because that exhaust is going right in their face. Like, that dog would not be in good shape. But at this point, Richard, this trio had become celebrities. The press came out at every stop to see him and take pictures. At Mountain Home, Idaho, citizens warned them that the Oregon Trail was not good further east. It's like, hey, you know how shitty it's been before? Yeah. It's getting worse.
The last time we had people go across that, they ate each other.
Crocker
died of dysentery.
No, our dog almost did. Crocker, when they got to another stop, he wired the Winton company for more parts. It's like, again, they've barely made it like partway through their
I'll tell you what, though, that's kind of smart. Because then they're probably like, look, we're driving in your fucking car. I think that if anybody wants this to work, it should be you. So that way you can be like, hey, like this is like they're trying to get sponsorship. That's what they're doing.
Essentially. Winton's like, oh, wow, you guys made it a lot further than I did.
Yeah.
You're both still alive.
On the side of the fucking car.
The trouble keeps continuing, though, but in June of 16, somewhere in Idaho, Jackson's coat containing most of the traveler's money fell off and was not found.
Jesus Christ.
So now they're out of money. So Sewall's like, hey, I bet we wish we didn't pay that money for that dog now, huh?
We're going to eat this fucking dog. That's what's going to happen, Sewall. Mark my words. We're eating dog halfway through these goddamn mountains.
But Jackson wired for his money to get, or wired his wife to get some money. I'm sure he gets back like, new phone, who dis? Between June 20th and the 21st, all 3 of them got lost in Wyoming.
God damn it.
And they went without food for 36 hours, Richard, before they found a sheep herder who gave them,
and they killed him and ate him.
We ate a shepherd.
I want to talk about it. What happens in Wyoming stays in Wyoming.
But before they got out of Cheyenne, the car's wheel bearings gave out. So Crocker had to talk a farmer into letting them have the wheel bearings of his mowing machine. So imagine that conversation was like, you want these wheel bearings? How you going to earn them? Well, I mean, we don't have any money.
We'll use the money damn it.
You know what currency is out here, son? Oh, it's sexual, isn't it? It's sexual. Oh, please tell me no mouth stuff. Please tell me no mouth stuff. No mouth stuff. Whew, dodge that bullet.
Pants off. Damn it. Things are getting worse, Horatio.
We should have just settled in Idaho like I wanted.
We could have raised sheep. And then some other stupid fucker would come along in a goddamn car, and then I could be the one being like, it's sexual. I could have been that guy. I don't want to be on the receiving end of this. This is your fault.
I hate you.
And your fucking dog. And tell the dog to take off those goddamn goggles.
And tell him to stop licking his balls while this is going on.
It's unseemly.
So the travelers eventually reached Omaha, Nebraska on July 12th. And from there on, they were able to use a few paved roads, and their trip became much easier.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they made it to Nebraska, then they got pretty much past the mountains, I think.
Yeah, essentially. So it seems like it started going pretty quick, and there's not a whole lot on here after that. So the only mishap, so from Omaha, Nebraska to Buffalo, New York, they didn't have any other issues. So as they're driving, Sewall's like, take the bumps easy, take the bumps easy. And Nelson's like, man, you and that farmer really hit it off, didn't you?
He sodomized me, Horatio.
We will never speak.
Bitch.
We will never speak of Wyoming again.
Whatever happens in Wyoming stays in Wyoming, Horatio.
So the only mishap that they had happened in Buffalo, New York, when the Vermont ran into a hidden obstacle in the road, and Jackson, Crocker, and Bud were thrown from the car.
Oh my God.
So this is what they say. It's like, the last very end of the trip is when 99% of the accidents happen.
Yeah.
So Sewall Crocker's like, fuck you, Nelson. Like, I never want to see you again. Hurry, fucking speed. I want to get home, take our fucking pictures, and then I'm never seeing you. Oh my God. But Richard, the trio arrived in New York City on July 26, 1903. So it took 63 days, 12 hours, and 30 minutes from San Francisco to get to where they were in New York City.
Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No.
This was the first automobile to successfully first automobile to successfully transit the North American continent. Their trip took 800 gallons of gas.
Holy shit.
Which I don't know what would take today. Surely less, right? Maybe
I don't
not.
know. Okay, so I drive an SUV. I think it holds 28 gallons. 26, 28 gallons. And I can get about 400 miles, a little over 400 miles out of a full tank. So,
oh shit. So this isn't quite their direction, but it's 2,900 miles from San Francisco to New York, but they did go up north and over, so you could say it's a little bit more.
Right.
But if you get 30 miles a gallon, that's 96 gallons that it would take. So today's vehicles do 1/8 of what this one did.
Damn.
That's crazy.
And
they probably didn't have big gas tanks.
And in like 1/8 of the time.
Yeah. So I wonder how many of their trips, like they ran out of gas and had to like walk or bike somewhere, carry the gas back, and then go continue their journey.
Ugh.
Dang. So after leaving New York City, Jackson
joined. All right, we're
us.
here for the gas. You know what you need. I know what I need to do for the gas. Let's get it fucking over with.
Yeah, some fucker named Nelson lost all of our money. So the only currency we have is me. Nelson, why don't you do any of this?
It's sexual. I know it's sexual.
Nelson, why don't you ever do any of this to kind of take one for the team? I'm a married man, sir.
Yeah.
And I own the dog, so.
Yeah. I can't do this in front of the dog. It's unseemly.
But after leaving New York City, Jackson joined his wife and drove to Vermont, which I'm kind of surprised. Like, I'd imagine after 63 days, be like, hey, who are you?
Right.
I thought you were dead.
Meanwhile, drunk father's like, where the fuck have you been?
I thought
Why
you were
are you
dead.
walking like that?
Oh, shit. Could you imagine, like, driving those roads, like, how sore your legs would be?
Oh, shit. Dude, I've driving my car through the mountains was a fucking pain in the ass. And that's over paved roads. And I had to, like, floor it. I remember flooring it, going, like, I had my foot to the floor and I'm going, like, 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, those mountains are rough.
And my engine's fucking screaming. I'm like, I'm going to break something. I'm going to break something. I'm going to die. I'm going to die on the side. I'm going to eat my kids. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to be stuck on the side of this mountain, and I'm going to have to eat my fucking children.
Which one would you eat first?
Probably the youngest. She'd put up less of a fight. I mean, I haven't thought about it, is what I meant to say.
Oh, hey, sweetie, night. Yeah, and then going down those hills, too, because you ride your brake the whole way down.
Yeah.
Because they say to put it, like, neutral, so your engine does most of the braking. Or not neutral, like low gear or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, so just let my engine blow up. But, Richard, to bring this story home, so Jackson's two brothers, each driving their own vehicle, came to help get him going again. So basically came to bring him back home.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, no. So about 15 miles from home, his car once again broke down. So the Vermont broke down. So his two brothers came to help him out, and shortly after returning to the road, both of his brothers' vehicles broke down.
Jesus.
Finally, once they got the Vermont home, they found that it was the Vermont's drive chain that snapped, and it was one of the few original parts that were not placed during this whole journey.
So basically the one thing that held the car together is the thing that finally took a shit.
Yep. Got him all the way about 15 miles from back home, which it kind of it's a very much a bookend to this. The first 15 miles.
This is the Mount Doom moment where, like, they're standing outside the car and they're like, well, you can't carry us anymore, but we can carry you. Come on, Vermont. Oh my God, it's a fucking car. I can't carry a car. I can't carry a car.
And just to kind of tidy up with, because they don't really talk about Sewall much anymore. But Jackson continued. Yeah, it's like, fuck.
He chose to live the rest of his life in solitude.
They're like, so, Nelson, how was this trip for you? I don't want to talk about it.
Forget my name.
Slept the whole way. But Nelson Jackson, he continued to live in Vermont with his wife and Bud the dog. He started several businesses. With his brother was one of them. He actually participated in World War I as part of the Vermont National Guard.
Yeah, nice.
Following the war, he became a colonel in the officers' reserves, and he twice ran for governor of Vermont, and owned a newspaper, a bank, and a radio station.
Damn.
At one point, Richard, he was ticketed for exceeding the 6-mile-per-hour speed limit in Burlington. So he gets pulled over.
He gets out of that car. He's like, all right, I know the deal. Drop your pants. What are you talking about, sir? It's just a fine. Oh, right. I mean, what I meant, drop your pen, because I know what the fine is. Did you think you needed to service me in order to pay this ticket, sir?
I've seen some shit, officer.
Let me tell you about the road.
It's the name of his documentary. So the only other thing, so we could talk about where he died on January 14th. Doesn't say what he died from, but he lived a pretty long life. And the Vermont was actually sent to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., where it is preserved. So it's sitting there today.
Probably in bits and pieces.
I would imagine, unless they kind of like cleaned it up and maybe like, again, there's like only like 3 parts of their actual part that they used.
Shit's falling off of it.
The only other crazy thing about this is Ken Burns actually did a documentary on this. It's called Horatio's Drive, which was on PBS. And
Oh.
Tom Hanks actually did the voiceover for Horatio Nelson Jackson.
Oh, nice.
So there's a little bit of information there.
I don't know if I could hear Tom Hanks going, and then he had to service people in order to get gasoline.
I didn't want to do it because I was a married man. That's unseemly.
Every time he stopped at the side of the road. Is this going to be sexual? It's sexual. Fucking knew it.
Well, Richard, to tidy up this first American cross-country road trip, what's your Richard's closing thoughts?
Pray to God, but row for shore. And
this tale kind of reminds us a little bit of our road trips.
right? I mean, no, it doesn't.
Shawn, we should just stop here. We can make a life. We're like 2 blocks from my house.
I know. I'm saying, like, this would be good. We could raise sheep.
We're in the city limits. You can't raise sheep here. Where'd you get that dog?
I found it.
Well,
we paid $400. That's all our money.
I know, but isn't he cute? I got him glasses. Well, Richard, as we're pulling into the final destination of our road trip here, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit us on our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LB Army intelligence reports. Like us on Facebook. And go out and recruit somebody for the LB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify.
And when you are there, please be sure to throw up some ratings and reviews, because those ratings and reviews are so helpful just to the show in general. Helps keep us in, relevant in iTunes and all the other places where people search for things.
Remember, you can always find the Language of Bromance as part of the Pod Bros Network.
Yeah, because that's the service. No, wait.
No, I was going to say John actually was needing you to go talk to him about some service work.
It's sexual.
It's sexual. And if you can throw a little money in our tip jar, go to our Patreon accounts, www.patreon.com/languageofbromance. We would love to get to our next tier, which is just a few dollars away, like $9 away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat beaver.
No, I don't. No, I'm not a weaver.
Beaver.
Oh.
Is it sexual?
It's sexual.